Hello students, let's read this question. What property was applied in the following equation? Basically, we just need to know what property was applied, and then they gave us this equation here. And I did circle, underline, and box. For elaborate is when I have to come out with a plan on how I'm going to be solving my question. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my anchor chart. So I'm going to be using this anchor chart to solve my question. The question is about properties, and I'm going to remember what the properties are. Inverse on the anchor chart. For addition, I add opposite signs to get a 0. You see? Negative 24, opposite 24. For inverse of multiplication, if you get a 6, you have to multiply by its reciprocal. The opposite of multiplying by 6 is dividing by 6, and then you get a 1. Commutative property. For commutative property, what I see is I'm adding the 5 at the beginning of this equation, and now on the other side, the 5 is at the end. You see? The 2 is the second number I'm adding, but on the other side is the first one. So basically, we just switch the order. And same thing here, the 4 is first, and here is not the first. You see, it's in the middle. And then the 5, it was in the middle, but here is first. And then they kept the 2 at the end. So it is switching just the order. And now let's see what happens here. I have the 8x at the beginning, and then here comes at the end. You see that, guys? And then plus 2, it was the second number they added. But here, it is the first number they are adding. So what happened here? They just changed the order. So looks like what we got here is commutative property. So I'm just going to write a question mark here. Now we're going to look at choice B, that is associative property. So I come to the anchor chart, guys. Here where it says associative, you see it? It's in pink. And I'm going to see what happens when we have associative property. And I see when we're adding, it is the same because we have the equal sign, adding in this order. So adding first the 2 and the 6 when we have 3 numbers adding each other. It is the same adding the last 2 first, like this. Then adding the first one and the second one here. So you see, we just change the order when we change this parentheses. We change the parentheses from here to here. And we didn't even have parentheses here. So it's not the associative property for addition. And for multiplication, I can see here, they have the same idea. They multiply first these 2 digits at the end of the multiplication, and on the other side, they did it on the other way, and they flip the numbers here too. But we're not grouping our operations, so it's not associative property. Distributive property, and I'm gonna go to my anchor chart and see what happens here. And when I have distributive property, I can see here the number in front of the parentheses distributes, so multiplies 1 digit first and then the next digit. You see that, guys? And this plus just carries over here. They didn't have any number in front of the parentheses doing a distribution, so that's why it's not distributive property. Great. Now I'm going to come to identity. So you see on the bottom of my anchor chart where it's in blue, and here for addition, I see that adding a 0 to 35, it keeps the same 35. That's what is called identity. You don't change what the number is. And for multiplication, if you get a 12 and you multiply it by 1, you still keep your 12. That's identity property of multiplication. This identity property is not what happened here. They're not multiplying by 1 or they're not adding a 0. This is not working. Our answer, it is definitely commutative property. Awesome, guys. Thank you.